I had my children, my twin sons, and when they were about 2 or 3 months old, not 2 or 3 months, Swami named them when they were 3 months, and then when about they were 8 or 9 months old, the Glaxo factory that manufactured the formula for the babies went on strike, and there was no Glaxo available anywhere in India. I was in India at that time. And Swami had told me when he had named them, don't worry about the boys. I will look after them as though they were my own babies. So I was never worried. But then what happened, as the days went by, it was very, very difficult to get formula. They were allergic to the cow's milk that was available, and the Glaxo was not available anywhere all over India. So all over the place, we had to ask people to buy it for us and bring it because they had rationed it. The pharmacies would sell only 1 box of Glaxo. And my husband, who is very, very strict about following the right thing, my father, who was a doctor, knew many pharmacists, and he would say to me, do you want me to talk to some pharmacies and get you some? And he would tell me, no. What about all the people who don't have the influence? What about all the mothers who don't know other pharmacists? You better stand in the line and get it from this pharmacy, 1 box at a time. So he was very strict, and slowly my 6 or 7 Glaxo, and with twin children, it was getting over really fast, was coming down to 1. And one particular Saturday, I was very, very upset. And as a mother, I was very nervous that I wouldn't be able to feed the babies. I went into the prayer room and I said, you know what, Swami? You said you would look after these babies. You're too busy in the veranda talking to those college boys. You're not listening to my prayers, are you? What am I going to do? You got me married to this man who will not move even this much. So what am I supposed to do? This was like a regular conversation that I had with Swami. I came out, and then my husband, who probably heard my moaning and groaning, said, look, there is a new pharmacy that has opened in the north of Bangalore. I will go and try to see if they'll give an extra box or so and bring it. So he left. We didn't even have a car then. He had a little scooter. So he went away, and on the way back, he picked up 2 cans of Glaxo, and he was coming to the middle of Bangalore city. There is a town hall there, and he stopped at the traffic light, and there was a car that also stopped at the traffic light, and when it turned green, the car wouldn't start. It broke down. So the elderly gentleman who was in the car asked my husband to help him to push the car to the side. So my husband, who was young, parked his scooter and pushed the car, and as he pushed the car, the gentleman asked him, in which direction are you headed? My husband said, I'm going to Jayanagar, which is the suburb in Bangalore. So the man said, oh, I had some really urgent delivery to be done in Jayanagar. Can you please go and give it to this person because it's urgent? My car has broken down and I won't be able to do it. So my husband said, well, if you trust me and give me your package, I'll be happy to deliver it. So the man wrote down the address and my husband took it from him. The policeman came and said, you people can't stand here in the middle of the street and have a conversation. So he didn't look at the address, he just took it, put it in his pocket. The man gave him a carton, which he tied to the back seat of his scooter with a string, and he left. And as he entered Jayanagar, he took out the piece of paper to see the address so he could deliver this box. It was quite a heavy box. He looked at it, and on that piece of paper was my name and our home address. So he said, what? I must have lost the paper, and looked in his pocket, but that was the only paper written in pencil. So he took it out and read again, and he came home with this carton tied to the back, and he rang the bell. I opened the door, and my first question was, did you get the Glaxo? He said, yes, I got 2 cans, but were you expecting some sort of a package? I said, no, I wasn't expecting. Did you get the Glaxo? He said, yes, but you know, he came upstairs with this heavy box and put it down, and he said, call your mother. What is this big box? Some strange gentleman near the traffic light gave me this, and he told me the whole story. So I called my mother, and she said, no, I haven't sent anything, and even if I did, why would I send it with some stranger? I would have sent it with our driver, or I would have called you. And she said, then I looked at the box, and on the sides of the box was my name. So she said, well, then open it if it has your name and your address. So we cut, you know, it was an old cardboard box tied with this jute string, you know. And we cut it, and we opened the box, and there were 12 boxes of Glaxo. 12 cartons of Glaxo inside. It was so heavy. You cannot believe the sense of gratitude and sense of shame I felt for having questioned his commitment to his devotees. So the following weekend, my husband and I, we went to Puttaparthi with the babies who were 9 months along with my mother. It was the old days of the sandy Puttaparthi, where there was the circle in the middle, and we were sitting on the sand with the 2 babies on our lap, and Swami came out at 4 o'clock for darshan. And as he started to walk towards me, I was just crying with the baby in my lap, and my mother had the other baby. And as he came, he materialized some vibhuti and put it on the babies that I held up, and put it on my forehead. And I just took a quick pada namaskar, just bending over, and he walked away. And as he walked away, I said to my mother, oh my goodness, I didn't even tell him thank you for those glaxo. And I said, why didn't you remind me? And she said, why didn't you say something? So mother and daughter discussion was going, and Swami walked all the way and came back and said, Pillaluk paal dorkinda? Did the babies get the milk? He said. The next morning, he called us for an interview, and he said, when there is a devotee who prays and surrenders to me, and when there is a dharmic husband, why would I not protect that family? Why would I not protect that family?